It was amazing to win a gold medal at 18. I was still in high school on my way to college. You already feel pretty invincible when you're in high school and college, but to have a gold medal around your neck, sky's the limit. Being able to be successful and have that joy even of being on the top of the podium, singing the national anthem and seeing what it meant to my community, my country, the people that always supported me was, I don't know, I always say I had the best senior year you possibly could imagine. I think the more you can recognize that like your sports career will come to an end. And none of us know, like we could blow our knees out or our shoulders and be done at any given moment. The sooner you could recognize that while you're still crushing it on the top of the podium, when everyone wants to help and support you, while people will take your calls, while the world still loves you. Very different power position than, hey, I'm retired, looking for work, trying to figure out what to do. Unfortunately, the equation kind of shifts that the day you retire. You'll have an easier glide path into retirement, into your second career, if you've done some of that heavy lifting in advance. I tried out a hedge fund. There's these traditional jobs that people throw at athletes. They're like, oh, here's what you do when you retire. You coach, or you're a broadcaster, or maybe you work on the team side. And I was like, but that's not what I want to do. And when I listened, I realized I'm more of an entrepreneur. I was helping the LA Olympic bid. I was the chief strategy officer there. And we hired a group that tried to help us understand what the future of sport looked like, and therefore what our bid should look like. And I realized through those two experiences that there wasn't really one group that was 100% dedicated with data to help business leaders across sport understand future trends, understand this fluid fan, understand the technology that was being thrown at them left and right. So I started a company called Sports Innovation Lab. Essentially looks at trends in sports, looks at technology trends, looks at the athlete, looks at the fan, and tries to break that down on behalf of the brands and the media properties, realizing that I could help solve a very, very important problem in the sports ecosystem, which was how do we use objective data, not just opinion, to drive strategy? How do we use data to enable these organizations that need to evolve and want to evolve? I see somewhat of what I'm doing as paying it forward to the next generation, using this business platform to transform sports, to enable the entire ecosystem. And I'm particularly passionate about the women's sports ecosystem. If I could do anything, on the heels of Sports Innovation Lab, it would be to run a women's sports league, or to create a massive fund that would just drive enormous amounts of capital into the women's sports ecosystem. I think women's sports have been underinvested and built in the wrong way, built in a traditional male model, which all of our data says doesn't work. And so that's where, again, I'm spending a lot of my time personally with my company, Sports Innovation Lab, and all the research we're doing is how do we drive more investment? The small hand I had to play in like normalizing playing and getting more girls to play, and boys, by the way, to see female role models. I have two young boys and we turn on a women's sports event and that's just completely normal to them. That young boys can grow up in a world where it's not just, oh look, our daughter has role models now. It's like our son has role models now. Sports is a very visible platform, and so to have boys and girls on TV, men and women on TV, believe me, boys and girls are watching. Went into Sports Innovation Lab, like I did my hockey career, you fall, you get up. You fall, you get up. It's how many 10,000 hours? It's more than that. You got to trust yourself more. My gut was usually right, but sometimes I would steer away from my gut. Just trying to understand who I was, being authentic, being wholly myself earlier on versus trying to do what other people wanted me to do. I think I would have been a little bit more myself throughout my career and post-career.